in school, you know, we didn't really have huge sports to play in terms of teams or anything like that, but you know, I'd kick football in the yard with the lads, or you know, we had swimming lessons, we had athletics just in the school, like, you know, PE, basketball, basically anything that they had on offer, I tried. And that was when I got into Gaelic football as well. So I was in, I think, 5th class when I got introduced to Gaelic football, and that was really like the first team sport that I ever played, and felt I was part of a team, that I, you know, would not just go to school to play sport, you'd go to a club and go and meet other people that were part of the team.
I suppose your dad was a massive name in Irish motorsport in the 80s and 90s, and your uncle as well. How big an influence did they have on you pursuing this side of your career?
Oh, huge. Like, they were, I suppose, my heroes growing up. You know, I did feel that my dad was this racing driver, even though he wasn't professional. He definitely went about everything that he did in a professional way. Derek went and made it to Formula 1, even though I wasn't even born when that happened. But I think it was just what inspired me from, you know, their story is just what they achieved with very little, and what they achieved by working really, really hard for what they wanted. So I think that was something that's where I got my inspiration from. It's like, okay, anything is possible. Like, you know, I've seen it, it's happened in my own family. And then just, you know, just approaching everything in a professional way, trying to, even if it's not a professional sport, you can still apply yourself like a professional. So that was definitely something I think I learned from my dad.
And having them as role models was obviously fantastic for you, but did you notice ever like a lack of maybe female role models in that sport?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was the one who kept pushing my dad, I want to race, like, put me in a cart. And you know, it wasn't that he said no, but he was at that time busy kind of with his own career. But I did notice as well, like, it was a little bit unusual for a girl to want to even get involved in it, because girls didn't do motorsport, or they weren't involved. Like, there was no female racing drivers, or, you know, anytime we went go-karting in a rental karting facility, you know, there was never any girls there. So I definitely did think I was sort of maybe a bit different, but I kind of felt that anyway, because I was like into all the sports that I felt at the time were for boys, like soccer and, you know, anything really. The Formula Female kind of came from just my own experiences, and I suppose it was around the time when, like, women in sport was really taking off, and people were paying more attention to it and trying to give it more exposure. And you know, I had gone through 5 years of engineering, being the only girl in my class. I went to a racing team being the only female engineer, and it was more the positive experience that I'd had outside of that, you know, how much fun and how much I learnt and how much I enjoyed being part of the racing team and getting to travel and all that. And that's what I wanted to kind of share with other people. I wanted to be able to open up that experience and actually show them what a career in motorsport is like, and that it is for anyone, you know, that there is women out there working in it. And that was sort of why I came back to Ireland and set up Formula Female, to try and, again, increase the exposure and give young girls an opportunity to give it a go.
And how's everything going with Formula Female?
It's great, yeah. Like, it's, you know, it's tough to manage something like that. You know, motorsport isn't huge here in Ireland, but at the same time, you know, we have some, you know, really talented people. You know, Alex Dunn just won the British F4 Championship, so he's kind of on his way to hopefully going to Formula 1. You know, Alex Colby's a young racing driver. You know, she's been winning at all the different levels up through karting. So there's the talent there. It's probably just not as big. So I'm hoping that through the Go Girls program that we're running can help to maybe introduce more girls to the sport more longer term, you know, try and grow the base of the participation among girls. So.
You spoke there as well about, you know, you have your degree in mechanical engineering. You talked to us about the relationship between that and motorsport.
Yeah, like, I suppose when I was studying engineering, I didn't even really, as much as I was involved in motorsport, didn't really understand how much engineering actually was involved in the sport. And it was only when I went to do a master's in motorsport engineering, I realised, okay, this is like, it's the pinnacle of sort of engineering and technology and science, really. And it was really cool to be able to actually use my mechanical engineering degree and put it towards something that I was really interested in. And that's where, you know, I decided, okay, I can actually work for a team. I might not be a racing driver, but I'd like to work and be part of, you know, helping the driver or the car or the team to actually succeed or to get better. So it's very similar to being a sports person, really. Like, you're there to improve yourself, you're there to help improve the team. You're just in a different role, I suppose, when you're not the athlete. You're sort of the management staff, or, you know, a team member that helps bring out that performance. So.
Forward it goes to Nicci Daly. Lovely 3D skills from her. And the opportunity, and what a goal that is from Nicci Daly.
How did you go from playing that much gaelic football at that standard as well into hockey as well? Kind of balancing that?
Yeah, it was hard. I was kind of balancing hockey and football through that 2009-2010 year. It kind of all happened at the same time. Got called into the Dublin team, same time I got called into the Irish team. And I tried to do both for a while, but it was just, I was completely like wrecked. I couldn't keep up the two of them. So it just came to a point where I had to make a decision, and I remember sitting down with sort of the coach of the Dublin team at the time and then the coach of the Irish team. And when I sat down with the Irish coach, he mentioned the word Olympics, and I don't really remember anything else from the conversation, but I remember my name and the Olympics in the same sentence, and it was something I'd never thought of before. I didn't even really know hockey was an Olympic sport. Like, I was, yeah, I suppose, kind of uneducated around the world of hockey and what the pinnacle of the sport was. So that just stuck with me, and it was something that I was like, this is what I want to do, that's the goal now. And I was probably a bit naive to think I was just going to, you know, go off to the next Olympics in 2012, which we didn't. It actually turned out to take a lot longer than I thought, but you know, we got there in the end. It was like something I felt that was never going to come around, because we'd waited, you know, being part of the team since 2010 and not qualifying in 2012 and not qualifying in 2016, but then all of a sudden qualifying in 2019, but then COVID hitting. It was like, it was just like, it was never ending. It was like, is it ever going to actually happen? Is it ever going to come around? So when it did come around, it was like, oh my God, this is it, we're here. And it was incredible. Like, I mean, you know, obviously we'd never been before. It was a COVID Olympics, but we'd nothing to compare it to. So you're just taking it all in, you know, like you're walking around and you spot athletes from different sports that you've been watching on the TV, and yeah, it was pretty special. I was quite conscious that it was definitely probably going to be my last tournament, so I did make a conscious effort to really be as present as I could every single day and really kind of take in the experiences, because I've gone to many tournaments where it just passes you by and you don't really appreciate it until maybe afterwards when you look back. But definitely the Olympics was one where I felt, okay, like I think I even kept a diary, like, which I don't do. So yeah, it was just trying to take it all in as much as you could.
Daly, O'Flanagan leads in front. Here is O'Flanagan. Can she find Daly?
We are a small sport. We're not anywhere near the likes of Gaelic football or women's soccer, but so to be able to do that, you know, to get to a World Cup final, it did exactly that. It made people aware. It kind of helped people understand that sport is out there, and it brought attention to it. So now people, you know, a lot of people do remember the Irish women's hockey team in the World Cup, and it helped the sport massively grow. Like, you know, I know there was clubs that were inundated with, you know, memberships and young kids wanting to sign up. So yeah, it's been great for the sport, and I think, you know, it's only kind of allowed the team to get better and to become more professional in the way they train and the way they approach the game and stuff. So.
You've obviously retired from hockey now. Do you miss it, or do you kind of still pick it up every now and again and go out and play?
I haven't actually held a hockey stick since the last game in the Olympics. So, like, do I miss it? Yeah, I think I don't miss like the training and the hard hours and all of that, but you do miss the team, you miss the travel, you miss the big games, like the tournaments, like what you do all the training for. So, you know, I was delighted to be on the other side watching the girls in the World Cup this year, but at the same time, you know, there's that bit that you're like, oh, wouldn't mind being out there now. But then, you know, you see a day like today and you're like, oh, thank God I'm not out there training.
Once again, It's going to be Daly who flies down the straight, and she leads from Shetty.
I think I haven't really changed, like, from a kid to now. Like, I'm still, you know, any sport that there is to try, I'll give it a go. And this opportunity came up with the E-Skooter, and honestly, I didn't really think I would get a place. Like, I didn't think I would be one of the riders selected. So when I was like, oh my God, this is cool. Like, this is my opportunity to race. So this is what I've always wanted to do. Probably didn't think it would be on 2 wheels, but it's been such a different experience. Like, you know, going from being a team sport to now just being me, and I don't know anything about actually being a racing person or, you know, a racer. I've watched it all my life, but it's totally different actually doing it yourself. So it's been great to just learn. Like, I'm just learning so much about it, and being with a team like Carlin, who are extremely professional in motorsport as it is. It's been great to work with their engineers and their coaches and things to help me to kind of improve as quickly as I can and get better. And having teammates that have obviously raced on 2 wheels before is a good help as well. So yeah, it's nice to kind of get back into a competitive element again, but it's kind of because it's so new, it's such an adventure. Like, you know, every day is a school day. So I'm really enjoying it, yeah.
You've spoken in the past about how sometimes you struggle with confidence as a player. And I feel like, you know, a lot of players can actually relate to that, and it's maybe something that's not spoken enough about. Is there any kind of advice that you give to people that are feeling that way? Yeah,
like I did. I struggled a lot with my confidence, especially at the start of my career, and it was like, you know, it was, I suppose it's your thoughts, like it's what you think, and that was what I was thinking. I was thinking I wasn't good enough. It was just like fear of failure, and it really like harmed my playing, like my actual performances and things. So, like, any advice I would give to people is to like be open about it. Like, I think you can only turn a weakness into a strength if you can first acknowledge it. So that was something that I had to do, and it's hard to say that, like, it's hard for anyone to admit their weaknesses. You know, people they think if they can hide it, no one will ever know, but, you know, that'll always be your limiting factor. So I think for me, it was about really just getting over that hurdle of having to first admit what I was struggling with, and then having somebody try and help me. And I was lucky, I had my uncle there who had kind of gone through a similar path and had worked in that kind of work in motorsport, so he was able to help me a lot. And then obviously, like, through the Sport Ireland psychologists and things like that, it was a big help. But yeah, I think it's very natural for especially young athletes to go through that phase of lacking in confidence, or even, you know, young people in general to lack confidence. So I don't think there's any shame or any harm in talking about it and asking for help.
You recently launched our Do For Her campaign. What was your reaction to it when you watched it?
Yeah, I think it was disappointing. You know, it was disappointing to hear that the girls couldn't, you know, name a female athlete. And considering how much success even in Ireland we've had with female athletes and female teams, it was really surprising, and yeah, it was quite disappointing, really. And just to hear their take on, you know, boys think they're better than girls, and, you know, they obviously are aware of the lack of attendance at women's games compared to men's games. And I just think, as far as we've come, it highlights there's still a lot further to go. And, you know, if our own small kids now, even with the amount of visibility that's out there, still can't recognise it, then there's obviously still, you know, big gap there to be filled, and there's a lot more to be done to change that perception. For me, sport has always been my outlet. Like, that's what, you know, I think, especially around times of exams or leaving cert, or that pressure of, you know, school, or pressure of whatever it is going on outside of life, I think don't lose sight of what sport can actually give you, because it's obviously a great way to be physically active, and we all know that, you know, if you can do physical exercise, it helps your mental health as well. So I think, you know, you've got your friends there in the sporting world as well, and just because you might be overcome with something or overwhelmed with the pressure of exams or whatever it is, and you feel like sport's the one that needs to be dropped, I would actually say that's the one that will probably help you to kind of get over that stress and that pressure, because there's a release there from that through, you know, sport, through your teammates, through that socialising, and through the physical exercise of it. So I think you know, it can feel like a lot to do all your sport and do all your studies and do all your extracurricular activities and whatever it is. But I think if young girls and boys and whoever, young people in general, can, you know, get help with being more organised and structuring their week, you know, it might help them, that they feel like they don't need to drop something, that they can manage everything. And it's just about balancing, you know, all of the loads that they have and all the extra weight that maybe these young people have. But I think sport is definitely something, for me anyway, that has helped me for releasing all that sort of stress and pressure.
And then as a female athlete who's played at such an elite level, what are kind of some of the challenges that you faced throughout your career?
I think it's just challenges, just trying to be better all the time, you know, like, again, it's probably the pressure you put on yourself to perform and to make sure you keep getting, you know, you're continuing to get better and better. But yeah, I think it's probably that pressure, that inbuilt pressure that you know, you always wanted to perform at your best, and it's not always going to happen that way. Like, you're going to have off days, you're going to have days that you're not going to play that well, but it's how you sort of deal with that and move forward. So I think that was probably the biggest thing that I struggled with.
And looking back on your career so far, what's kind of a standout moment for you personally?
I think qualifying for the Olympics was definitely, obviously the World Cup was brilliant, but the goal was always to get to an Olympics and to really qualify and get there. I feel like the hard work that it took and the years of perseverance and training and everything to finally reach the goal was, I think, yeah, sort of the proudest moment.
And what is your kind of ultimate goal now with Formula Female?
Just to continue to open the sport up and help young girls. Like, you know, I get emails from people saying, you know, my daughter really wants to try it, can you help? Like, just to be a help, be a support there for anyone who is interested in getting involved, and to continue to, yeah, make the sport engaging, try and make subjects like science, technology, engineering and maths engaging and fun, and to hopefully see, you know, a female racing driver from Ireland on the world stage one day. I think that would be pretty cool.